Before Brangelina, there was Billy Bob and Angelina, a pairing so shocking that it made front-page news almost daily. From vials of blood to a sudden Vegas wedding, their 3-year whirlwind marriage became one of the most talked-about romances Hollywood has ever seen. Their romance was marked by fiery passion, eccentric antics, and jaw-dropping gestures that left fans both fascinated and perplexed. From wearing each other's blood around their necks to shocking the world with their sudden Las Vegas wedding, the couple's love affair burned hotter than almost anything Hollywood had seen before. But just 3 years after saying, "I do," this wild love story came to an end. Why did such a powerful connection unravel so quickly? What secrets were hidden behind the headlines? And now, decades later, what does Billy Bob Thornton have to say about the real reason behind their breakup? Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most unforgettable Hollywood romances, the passion, the chaos, the breakup, and the surprising truth that only came out years later. To really understand how this love story came to be, we first have to step back and look at Billy Bob Thornton's roots. Thornton wasn't born into the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, far from it. He grew up in Hot Springs, Arkansas, in a tiny shack that didn't even have electricity or plumbing. Born on August 4, 1955, his childhood was marked by hardship, strict parenting, and the struggles of undiagnosed dyslexia. Baseball was his first escape. In fact, he was good enough to try out for the Kansas City Royals. But after a devastating injury, his dreams of being a professional athlete ended before they really began. So he turned to acting. Like many aspiring actors, his early years in Los Angeles during the 1980s were filled with odd jobs, telemarketing, fast food, and even working on offshore oil rigs. Bit by bit, he carved his way into Hollywood, landing small roles until his big break came with One False Move in 1992. But the real turning point? Sling Blade in 1996. Billy Bob didn't just star in the film, he wrote and directed it. The movie was a massive critical success, earning him an Academy Award and cementing his reputation as one of Hollywood's most unique talents. From small-town Arkansas to Hollywood's red carpets, Thornton had arrived. By the time Billy Bob met Angelina Jolie, he had already been married 4 times. His relationships had always been stormy, filled with passion, but ending in heartbreak. Angelina Jolie, meanwhile, was already a rising A-lister, known for her intense acting style, edgy public image, and a personal life that fascinated the press. She had just divorced her first husband, Johnny Lee Miller, and Hollywood already saw her as unpredictable, fearless, and maybe even dangerous. So when Jolie and Thornton crossed paths on the set of Pushing Tin in 1999, sparks weren't just flying, they were explosive. There was just one problem. Thornton was engaged to actress Laura Dern at the time, but the pull toward Jolie was too strong. The chemistry between them was undeniable, both on screen and off. Laura Dern would later recall the heartbreak, saying, "I left our home to work on a movie, and while I was away, my boyfriend got married, and I've never heard from him again." In May 2000, the world was blindsided. Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton got married in a quick, almost impulsive Las Vegas ceremony. Forget the massive Hollywood wedding, the designer gowns, and the star-studded guest lists. Jolie kept it simple, with her hair pulled back and no big production. It was raw, impulsive, and a clear signal that this was not your average celebrity romance. From that moment on, their relationship became tabloid gold.
And Angelina Jolie take to the red carpet tonight for the premiere of their new film, Original Sin.
At red carpet events, They couldn't keep their hands off each other. Thornton famously bragged about intimate moments they had just before walking onto premieres. And of course, there were the infamous blood vial necklaces, a gesture that tabloids ran wild with. Thornton would later downplay the rumors, explaining, "It was much simpler than people made it out to be. We just poked our fingers with a pen and smeared a little blood on them. It wasn't as dramatic as everyone thought. But still, the public was captivated. Their love was passionate, eccentric, and chaotic. Everything Hollywood loves to talk about." After their whirlwind wedding, the couple moved into a lavish $3.75 million Beverly Hills mansion, a clear signal that they were ready to build a life together. It wasn't just a home, it was meant to be their sanctuary. In fact, Angelina Jolie even had a padded room installed inside the house, explaining in interviews that it was a place they could retreat to whenever emotions became too overwhelming. For a while, it seemed their passion could withstand anything. Jolie described the relationship in almost dreamlike terms, saying, "I feel so complete and safe and warm and in love. And then I just feel like I'm on fire." But the intensity that once fueled their romance soon began showing cracks. Jolie's world was rapidly expanding. She was stepping into her role as a humanitarian, speaking before the United Nations, and beginning the process of adoption. She wasn't just a Hollywood star anymore. She was evolving into a global figure. Thornton, however, struggled with this shift. In a 2016 interview with GQ, he admitted he never felt like he truly belonged in that environment. "I never felt good enough for her. I'm really uncomfortable around rich and important people." What had once been a fiery connection slowly became two diverging paths, one leading toward the global stage, the other toward solitude. For years, fans speculated endlessly about what caused the split. Was it jealousy, infidelity, or simply two strong personalities clashing behind closed doors? But when the dust settled, Billy Bob Thornton revealed that the real answer was much simpler than the rumors suggested.
So what ended up happening was this frustration. I think he felt like a bigger man than he was.
In a 2018 interview, he explained, "We just had different lifestyles. Hers was a global lifestyle. Mine is an agoraphobic lifestyle. That difference, more than anything else, became the breaking point." Angelina Jolie thrived in a world of flashing cameras and global responsibility. She was constantly on the move, attending humanitarian missions, adopting children, and headlining blockbuster movies. Her life was public, international, and demanding. Thornton, however, was wired differently. He preferred the quiet, the comfort of home, and the safety of routine. The more Jolie's career and causes took her around the world, the more Thornton felt out of place. Over time, their opposing lifestyles created a divide too wide to close. In the end, it wasn't scandal or betrayal. It was simply two people who belonged to very different worlds. He once described the sudden change in their relationship as overwhelming, saying, "It was like going to a nightclub one night, and the next thing you know, there are guys with helicopters and machine gun fire. You don't know what happened." In the end, it wasn't betrayal or anger that tore them apart, just two people heading in completely different directions. Unlike many Hollywood divorces that spiral into feuds and bitterness, Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton's split was surprisingly calm. There were no explosive interviews, no public mudslinging, and no tabloid wars. In a 2004 interview with Vogue, Jolie reflected on the breakup with honesty and grace, saying, "In a year, I became who I am today, very much, and he became who he is. It was just totally different paths." That sense of mutual respect continued long after the marriage ended. In fact, in 2012, Jolie contributed the foreword to Thornton's memoir, The Billy Bob Tapes, a cave full of ghosts, a heartfelt gesture that showed their bond hadn't turned to resentment. And even years later, Thornton himself confirmed that the connection remained intact. Speaking in 2016, he revealed, "We talk every few months. There's no animosity at all. So, what lessons can we really take away from this whirlwind Hollywood romance? The relationship between Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton wasn't your typical celebrity love story. It wasn't built on glittering premieres, designer weddings, or picture-perfect appearances. Instead, it was raw, fiery, eccentric, and unapologetically unfiltered. Their love burned bright, but as we all know, sometimes the hottest flames burn out the fastest. Their marriage proves a powerful truth. Love can be intense, passionate, and completely real, but that alone doesn't guarantee it will last. When two people are headed in different directions, even the strongest connection can unravel. Jolie was stepping into a global spotlight, driven by humanitarian causes and an international career, while Thornton longed for a quieter, more private life.
Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton divorced, citing different life paths and personal growth separating them.
Two paths, both valid but impossible to merge. And yet, unlike so many Hollywood breakups, their split wasn't marked by drama or public bitterness. Instead, it was defined by mutual respect, enduring fondness, and even friendship. In a world where relationships often end in chaos, that's rare, and perhaps one of the most remarkable parts of their story. Their romance leaves us with a question worth asking. Is lasting love about passion and fire, or is it really about finding someone whose lifestyle truly aligns with yours? For Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton, it was a case of unmatched passion but misaligned paths. A reminder that in Hollywood and in life, sometimes love just isn't enough. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton's whirlwind romance, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next big celebrity deep dive.